What up, though? Thesaurus.com. Hip means fashionable, stylish. Other words synonymous with hip is chic, contemporary, cool, hot, modern, new, smart, sophisticated, trendy. But as Americans, hip to us means it means aware. Like I'm hip. Although it's not used as much, only time you really hear the word hip is if you're talking about some older person getting one replaced, or you talking about hip hop. It say alert, all current, avant garde, cutting edge, up to date. But the alert, attentive, is closer to what we mean when we say hip. Again, hip just means aware. So we have thesaurus.com. Hop, jump on one leg, bounce, bound, caper, dance, hurdle, leap, lap, lape, skip, skitter, spring, step, trip, vault. So hop means jump on one leg. So hip means aware, or hip means current, fashionable, and hop means jump on one leg. So how do you put these two together to be an entire genre of music, or music, quote, music, end quote? Um, I don't really think hip hop is music. I think music is more like, for instance, singers. Your voice becomes a singer's voice. Some singers, real good singers, um, Angela Winbush, LaShawn Pace, I Know I've Been Changed. Like certain singers, a lot of singers from the 70s, even the 60s, even people like BB King and Howlin' Wolf, and current, it's some current singers too, where their voice is an instrument. So music to me is more when your voice is an instrument. It's a something you born with. It's natural. Um, as well as instruments. Hip hop, sampling, all that stuff is you're sampling instruments. You chopping up instruments. And now it's software. So the soul is completely taken out of it. Yeah, you might feel it. Yeah, you might feel it. Of course you feel it. But ain't no soul in it. Don't get me wrong. I like, quote, hip hop, end quote. And I put it in quotes because what is hip hop? The foundation of it is rap. And what's rap? All rap is talking greasy. That's it. Before it had a label, It was talking greasy. It was rapping. See, rapping is synonymous with talking greasy, real rap. Or when you got it, when you call your homie your rappy, where I'm from anyway. So what is this hip hop? Get a better understanding of what this hip hop actually is. Because we just saw the definition of the two words. One mean fashionable, the other mean jump on one leg. So how did that become the name of a genre of music? How did that become us talking greasy? Our people talking greasy over a beat. How did it become that? This is Wikipedia. We're not using it so much as a main source. No pun intended. Just trying to get a little direction on certain things so that we can take this and then go somewhere else with it. Kind of cross-reference things. So Wikipedia, the Doubles. The Doubles were an American doo-wop group formed at Overbrook High School in Philadelphia in 1957 under the name Brooktones. And as you can see, the Doubles are 4 Anglo-Saxon / Caucasian, the people who you term as white today. I'm not sure which country they actually come from, which soil portion. So they released a series of singles over the next few years, including You Can't Sit Down, a top hit on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1963. You Can't Sit Down. Now, this is Britannica. Doo-wop. Remember, the Doubles were said to be an American doo-wop group. First, they have one thing wrong. They're not American. They're from somewhere, but they're not American. Okay? You American, I'm American. The only Americans there ever was, is, and will be. They're from somewhere, just not America. Just because you born somewhere, just because some people in your family was born somewhere, it's not necessarily the place that you are from. They came here from somewhere, but that's neither here nor there. The Doubles, You Can't Sit Down. Remember, they're a doo-wop group, Britannica. Now, mind you, we don't need nobody to tell us what these things are because we made them. It's in the fabric of who we is. All this type of stuff, this natural stuff that happened before it started being pressed up on records and tapes and CDs and doo-wop. Britannica Online, doo-wop. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers doo-wop, style of rhythm and blues and rock and roll vocal music popular in the 1950s and 60s. Doo-wop, style of rhythm and blues. It was a style of rhythm and blues. So doo-wop, rhythm and blues, rock and roll, vocal music, it's all Americans doing what comes natural. Vocal music popular in the 1950s and 60s. The structure of doo-wop music generally featured a tenor lead vocalist singing the melody of the song with the trio or quartet singing background harmony. The term doo-wop is derived from the sounds made by the group as they provided harmonic background for the lead singer. The roots of the doo-wop style can be found as early as the records of the Mills Brothers and the Ink Spots in the 1930s and 40s. The Mills Brothers turned small group harmony into an art form, when in many of their recordings, they used their vocal harmony to stimulate the sound of string or reed sections. It says top teen dance hits 1958 to 1964. And as we could see, the Doubles, the song that we mentioned that I mentioned before, You Can't Sit Down, is on that top 10 dance hits. You Can't Sit Down. Here it is. These are the lyrics. You Can't Sit Down lyrics. And it says, you gotta slop, bop, flip, flop, hip hop, never stop. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. Pretty sure they ain't said like that. Pretty sure they said, you gotta slop, bop, flip, flop, hip hop, never stop. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. I'm pretty sure they said it something like that. But it say, you gotta slop, bop, flip, flop, hip hop. Remember, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the Doubles. That song, a few years, including You Can't Sit Down, a top hit on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1963. So in 1963, we got the Doubles, and the two words hip hop come out they mouth. You gotta slop, bop, flip, flop, hip hop, never stop. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. Hip hop, 1963, the Doubles. I'm not sure if they were the first to say it. Because what are they actually saying? You gotta slop, bop, flip, flop, hip hop, never stop. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. They could have been copying off of someone. Hip hop could have been just another word to say that just means jumping around, dancing. Nonetheless, the Doubles said hip hop in 1963. It says, this little overview says the Doubles version of You Can't Sit Down was written by Cal Mann and Dave Appel. It's a cover of the 1961 instrumental by Phil Upchurch, according to a music blog. Whatever music blog that is, I have no idea. I didn't dig for that music blog. Doesn't matter at this point. The song is based in part on the gospel song, Sit Down Servant. So You Can't Sit Down is by the Doubles, where they mention hip hop. And the Doubles, I'm sure the Doubles had no idea about what this. It almost makes me think this was a strategy. Now, listen. It almost makes me think it was a strategy, because wouldn't the Doubles estate be pushing for some kind of recognition for saying hip hop? I don't know. Anyway, according to a music blog, the song is based in part on the gospel song Sit Down Servant. That's where the Doubles got their inspiration from, a gospel song. Sit Down Servant. The song that Bob Dylan said made his hair stand up. Rafael Porcaro. This is August 5th, 2024. Born in Duluth, Minnesota back in 1941, Robert Allen Zimmerman, or simply Bob Dylan. I guess Bob Dylan is his pseudonym. is one of the most prolific songwriters of all time. He wrote more than 600 songs during his career and recorded 40 studio albums, which were huge inspiration for artists of many different music genres. Did he like writing that much? Did he like recording that much? Or did he have to? I think he had to. Because I think I would hate music after writing that many songs and recording that much. He once mentioned a track that, according to him, made his hair stand up after he listened. Dylan released his first studio album in 1962. Now, remember, the Doubles, You Can't Sit Down, was 1963. I believe that's what it said, 1963, the Doubles, You Can't Sit Down. And it was, the inspiration from it was Sit Down, what was it? The inspiration for his song was Sit Down Servant. And Bob Dylan said this song, Sit Down Servant, this gospel song, made the hair stand up on the back of his neck or something like that. Dylan released his first studio album in 1962. It was in the late 50s that Dylan said he heard the Staple Singers performing Sit Down Servant, which made his hair stand up on end. The Staple Singers, Sit Down Servant. One of the first songs I heard that made my hair stand up on end was called Sit Down Servant. That just made me stay up for a week after I heard that song, Bob Dylan said. And this is the Staple Singers. I believe the Staple Singers is all family. During his speech at Music Cares in 2015, when he was elected Person of the Year, Dylan mentioned the Staple Singers as one of his favorite groups of all time. He said, Purvis Staples and the Staple Singers, long before they were on Stax, they were on Epic, and they were one of my favorite groups of all times. Dylan wanted to marry Mavis Staples, but she rejected his proposal. But they are great friends and shared the stage many times over the decades. Okay, Sylvia Robinson, American singer and record producer, 1935 to 2011. As a performer on 2 R&B chart toppers, with the 1957 single Love is Strange and her solo record Pillow Talk in 1973. It's a dope song to me. Pillow Talk is a dope song. She later became known for her work as founder and CEO of the pioneering hip-hop label Sugar Hill Records. Now see, remember the Doubles, and 10 years before that, they had hip hop in their song. Now, I'm not saying that the Doubles is responsible for hip hop, because what is hip hop? When we think of hip hop, we think of rap. The Doubles wasn't rapping. Or if the Doubles was rapping that little rap that they did, they got that from somewhere. They got that from us, period. They got that from us. We always been talking greasy, period. You've always known someone who had the gift of gab. You always knew somebody who rapped words together when they was talking or spitting game or something like that. And that just didn't start. That's generations, hundreds of years ago. We talked about that in other shows. We talked about the rapping and all that in other shows, hundreds of years ago with our people and whatnot. So it says she later became known for her work as founder and CEO of the pioneering hip hop label Sugar Hill Records. Now, she's the founder of Sugar Hill Records. I believe it's the first so-called hip-hop label. But was it called hip-hop at that time in 1973? Was she known for having a hip-hop label? No. No, just from what I'm reading here. She didn't have a hip hop label. She had rappers, she had people rapping to a beat, rhyming on a beat. That's all they was doing, was rhyming on a beat. That's it. CEO of the pioneering hip hop label Sugar Hill Records, Robinson is credited as the driving force behind two landmark singles in the hip hop genre. See, it wasn't even a genre then. How can some be a genre if she just started the label? And in 1979, in 1973, she became founder and CEO of the pioneering hip hop label Sugar Hill Records. Rapper's Delight came out, it says, in 1979 by the Sugar Hill Gang. And The Message, 1982, by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, both of which she produced. She produced both of them. Sylvia Robinson. This don't sound like nobody, man. Listen, man. Don't fall for the propaganda. Don't fall for the propaganda that women is held back and can't do what they look at this. This is a Renaissance woman right here. She produced both songs. She made the beats for The Message and Rapper's Delight. The Message was ill. Both of which she produced. She received a Pioneer Award for her. Ooh, she got an award. She got a little statue. She received a Pioneer Award for her career in singing. And this is what, think about rewards. Think about awards. You go to a manufacturer, just like a manufacturer who makes anything, just like a manufacturer who makes folders or highlighters, markers or something. You go to a manufacturer that makes awards, and they making awards constantly. They give you this little thing that was mass produced. And this is your recognition for the initiative you took. She set the stage. She changed things. She was coming with something. She was putting together something that hadn't been organized before. Like I said, we've been talking greasy long before Sylvia Robinson came up with Sugar Hill Records. She just said, we got to record that. She received the Pioneer Award for her career in singing and for founding Sugar Hill Records. Several publications have dubbed her the mother of hip hop, but it wasn't hip hop at that point. I'm pretty sure she wasn't. I wish I could speak with her right now. I wish I could have saw an interview maybe with her. If you've heard or seen an interview with Sylvia Robinson, inform me if she said this is what she called what she was doing at that time. I don't think that's what she was doing. Again, I just think brothers was rapping and she said, can you do that to a beat? Robinson was born as Sylvia Vanterpool on May 29th, 1935. The same year one of my grandmothers was born. In Harlem, New York, United States, to Herbert, who worked for General Motors, and Ida Vanterpool Robinson. Pillow Talk with Sylvia. In the 1970s, the Robinsons co-founded Sugar Hill Records. The company was named after the culturally rich Sugar Hill area of Harlem, an affluent African American neighborhood. We know it's no such thing as an African American in it's no such thing as an African American, period. There's no such thing. Either you're from the soil portion that is called Africa, and if you are, I'm pretty sure you don't call yourself African. I'm pretty sure you call yourself what your people called themselves. So it's no African American. She's an American woman. I don't know where her 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, 16 second great grandparents come from, but I'm pretty sure this is an American woman in Manhattan, New York City, known as the hub for artists and performers in the early and mid 1900s. The song Rapper's Delight, 1979, performed by the Sugar Hill Gang, brought rap into the public music arena. See, it brought rap by attaining one of the first commercially successful hip hop songs. See, they're calling the song hip hop, but what they just said it brought rap into the public music arena by attaining one of the first commercially successful rap songs, not hip hop songs. What is hip hop? What is hip hop? They just said rap brought rap into the public music arena by attaining one of the first commercially successful hip hop songs, or properly rap songs. But even if we want to, we can take it a step further. We can take, just like if you say you're American, but your people might be from Alabama. More specifically, your people might be from Macon County. More specifically, they might be from Tuskegee. So we looking at rap, but what is rap? Talking greasy. What is hip hop? Well, they're calling it hip hop in this article, but it wasn't hip hop then. Why? Because the Sugar Hill Gang, in their lyrics, they said hip hop. Well, remember the Doubles, they said hip hop. Attaining one of the first commercially successful hip hop songs and revolutionized the music industry by introducing rap, scratch, and breakdance. See, this is a lie. The person who's writing this article is putting things together that just wasn't happening together like that. Rap, scratch, and breakdance. Breakdancing, they just mentioned early on in the article, what was the people, the Williams brothers or something like that? They had a song called Caravan, and on the Caravan video, brothers breakdancing on that video. Old video, they was breakdancing. The sister was in there getting money too, but the brothers was breakdancing. I think they was bunny hopping in that video. So they said, first commercially successful hip hop song, and revolutionized the music industry by introducing rap, scratch, and breakdance. Rap, scratch, and breakdance. These things didn't start out with the Sugar Hill Gang. Later acts signed to, let's move on. Later acts signed to Sugar Hill Records included all-female rap funk group The Sequence, featuring a teenage Angie Stone. Later acts signed to Sugar Hill Records included all-female rap funk group The Sequence, featuring a teenage Angie Stone, recording as Angie B. So Angie Stone was spitting, who had a million-selling hit in early 1980 with Funk You Up. Wow. In 1982, Sylvia Robinson with Grandmaster Melly Mel produced the record The Message, which was performed by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The record discussed life in the ghetto, or life in your neighborhood. See how they do us? and became one of the most influential tracks of the hip hop genre. See, this genre, this hip hop genre, this the way the author of the article is writing it, it would have you believe that it was hip hop at that time. When in fact, it wasn't hip hop. It was people rapping, talking greasy to a beat. On December 5th, 2012, Rolling Stone selected The Message as one of the 50 greatest hip hop songs. See, here we go with the hip hop stuff. We ain't even got to hip hop yet. We haven't even crossed that threshold where it went from rap over a beat or talking First, we didn't get from the threshold of talking greasy to rapping, and then from rapping on a beat to hip hop, because we know Pig Meat Markham, Here Come the Judge, he was rapping on a beat. He was talking greasy on the beat way before this stuff that we talking about right now. In order for Rolling Stone to compose this list, the publication has 33 different artists and experts from every genre of music. Oh, we're about to hear who are the experts from every genre of music, and what makes you an expert in music? Is it Maria Callas singing Ave Maria? Does that make her an expert? I would say, but is Angela Winbush an expert? The way she sang Angel? Is LaShawn Pace an expert? The way she sang I Know I've Been Changed? It says 33 different artists and experts from every genre of music, including Busta Rhymes, Boots Riley from The Coup, Mike D from the Beastie Boys, and Talib Kweli. Once the votes were in, those are our experts. Once the votes were in, The Message was placed in the number one spot on the list. The Message as one of the 50 greatest hip hop songs of all time was placed on the number one spot on the list. Grandmaster Flash stated, and when the project was on the slate to be done, The Message I'm talking about, she would ask us for a period of time about doing a record having to do with the real life things that happen in the hood. And we kind of ducked it for a minute. Without Sylvia Robinson's insistence and pressure, there would be no The Message. This was the first record of its kind where the DJ, who was the cornerstone of hip hop, see, it wasn't even hip hop at the time. At the time, 1980s, was not involved in creating a track that they performed. Sugar Hill Records folded in 1985 due to the changes in the music industry, the competition of other hip hop labels such as Profile and Def Jam, and also financial pressures. Same as it ever was. This is Sylvia Robinson, Sylvia Vanterpool, New York, Harlem. Producer. Los Angeles Times. I said hold on. I got it. I'm not about to rap this because it's actually sounds stupid. I said a hip hop, the hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop. Yeah, that sound real. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really even want to say that again. By Keith Murphy, August 7, 2023. On October 20th, 1979, high school friends Angela Brown, Cheryl Cook, and Gwendolyn Chisholm found themselves in a make or break audition. Like many adventurous teens, The Columbia, South Carolina natives were enamored with a new musical art form that had defiantly risen out of New York's impoverished South Bronx, hip hop. It wasn't even called hip hop at that time in 1979. It wasn't called that. It wasn't that. Maybe I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. It's not that. In 1979, it's not that. It's not that yet. I don't understand. The song Rapper's Delight, 1979. Sylvia started the label. She founded the label in the 1970s. In 1979, Rapper's Delight. And now they saying, Angela Brown, Cheryl Cook, and Gwendolyn Chisholm found themselves in a make or break audition. Like many adventurous teens, the Columbia, South Carolina natives were enamored with a new musical art form that had defiantly risen out of New York's impoverished South Bronx hip hop. Says October 20th of 1979. They found themselves in a make or break audition. And Rapper's Delight just came out in 1979. So I guess they got they pens and paper and started doing their thing. Or they just naturally knew how to talk greasy and rhyme words with it. Yet the record that inspired them to create their own rap group called The Sequence, which would become the first female and Southern rap act to sign a label deal, the first Southern rap act to find a label. How many of y'all knew that? That The Sequence featuring Angie Stone, Angie B, was the first Southern rap act to sign a label deal. Did not come out of the hallowed boogie down Bronx of hip hop. Originators DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash. So they signed a rap deal in 79. Yet the record that inspired them to create Sequence, which would become the first female to sign a deal. I don't know when they actually signed the deal. It don't say. Did not come out of the hallowed boogie down Bronx of hip hop. Originators DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash. Yeah. Rapper's Delight. The game change. The hip hop originators. Okay. This is the first that we're hearing of hip hop's origins. This is the first that we're hearing of hip hop origins. DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash. Now, what did they originate? The term hip hop? Let's move on. Rapper's Delight, the game-changing debut by the Sugar Hill Gang, was produced out of Englewood, New Jersey, and featured unlikely rhyme pioneers Michael Wonder Mike Wright, Henry Big Bank Hank Jackson, and Guy Master G O'Brien. The Sugar Hill Gang resonated with us, says Brown, better known these days as Grammy-nominated R&B singer Angie Stone. Somehow, Brown, Cook, and Chisholm finessed their way inside Columbia's Township Auditorium to see their heroes, the Sugar Hill Gang, in concert. Soon they were face-to-face performing for Sylvia Robinson, the larger-than-life founder and chief executive of the landmark rap label Sugar Hill Records. Before Robinson orchestrated the September 16th, 1979 release of Rapper's Delight, before the track went on to sell more than 14 million copies around the world, igniting the most dominant youth movement of the last 50 years, before the song's triumph transformed a small independent imprint into the first commercially viable rap label, a wide majority of America had never heard nor seen the Blackstreet expression called hip hop, the black street expression called hip hop. Many Americans, see, they're not talking about the only Americans there ever was, is, and will be. They talking about immigrants. A wide majority of immigrants had never heard nor seen the Americans expression called talking greasy. I'm telling you, I'm starting to think, well, I don't even know yet, because this is the author of the article mentioning hip hop. I haven't seen any quotes from Sylvia Robinson saying anything about hip hop. I would love to. I hope there's one here. I don't remember. I'm not sure. Today, okay, here we go. Today, hip hop is the most listened to musical genre. Before Rapper's Delight, it seemed ludicrous that a street genre exclusively performed live could even exist in a recorded format. Rapper's Delight nicked the meaty groove and signature bass lines from Chic's disco smash Good Times, which had topped the Billboard Hot 100 that August. Sheesh, that August? So she sampled Chic's Good Times the same year? Sheesh. Damn. Which had topped the Billboard Hot 100 that August. Robinson came up with the idea after attending a niece's summer birthday party at the iconic club Harlem World. The DJ was playing music and talking over the music, and the kids were going crazy. She recalled to the New Jersey Star Ledger in 1997, she stood transfixed as the disc jockey manning the turntables deliver a call and response take on Chic's monster anthem. Sylvia says, all of a sudden, something said to me, put something like that on a record, and it will be the biggest thing, Robinson added. I didn't even know you called it rap. See? Think about that. She said she heard Chic's Good Times. Now, mind you, this is around 1979. She heard Chic's Good Times, disco, and she heard the DJs talking greasy over it. And she said at that time, she didn't even know you called it rap. So how is it hip hop? She wasn't even at the rap stage yet. But the author of the article is calling it hip hop, as if hip hop was born right then and there. No, I don't think that is. I don't think that's hip hop. I think hip hop is something else. Let's find out. Robinson conducted Sugar Hill Records' airtight funk band Positive Force to replay Good Times. So, they replayed it. Okay. Sweet Spot. She meticulously guided her new Signese rhyme performance. So they were rhyming. That's what it is. Talking greasy, rhyming. The Sugar Hill Gang opened Rapper's Delight with one of the most recognizable first lines in the history of popular music. I said a hip hop, the hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop the rockin'. And that's difficult. Not to pronounce, but to say it and not feel like you're illiterate. While most mainstream music critics dismiss Rapper's Delight as a novelty, the public ate it up. Chic's Nile Rodgers, who co-wrote Good Times with late partner and bassist Bernard Edwards, was blindsided as the record blasted through the speakers at Midtown Manhattan disco spot Leviticus, When I heard Rapper's Delight, I thought the DJ was doing it live, Rogers recalled in a 2006 Vanity Fair feature on the rise and fall of Sugar Hill Records. Then I looked around and saw no DJ. He was standing right in front of me. Rogers and Edwards quickly got in touch with their lawyer. They quickly called a lawyer. On speed dial. The Robinsons scoffed at any talk of a deal, a byproduct of their days on the other end of brazenly shady music industry practices. Sugar Hill's chief investor, Morris Levy, intervened. Rogers told the trade magazine Hits that he and Edwards ended up receiving writing credits and royalties on every 12-inch sold, worth 3 times the suggested retail price. Levy did the deal. Before they formed, the 3 young men had never met. Unknown to Robinson, Big Bank Hank, who was discovered rapping while working at a pizza shop, didn't write any of Rapper's Delight's most quotable verse. Everybody go hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. You see if your girl start acting up, then you just take her friend. He didn't write any of it. Turned out that he had borrowed the lyric book of hip-hop pioneer Grandmaster Caz. A member of the hip-hop outfit, the Cold Crush Brothers. I wish they write some dates, put some dates down in here. Whom Hank had been managing. So Hank was managing Caz from Cold Crush. And he borrowed, it says in quotations, he borrowed the lyric book. What made him do that, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, what made him borrow his lyric book? What made him borrow his lyric book and bite his rhymes? Who Hank had been managing. It was another strike against the authenticity of the Sugar Hill Gang. And again, they say that none of the members of the Sugar Hill Gang even knew each other before this. Robinson's hard-working house band members reportedly were not getting paid for their studio and songwriting contributions. Artists who complained about being cheated out of money soon found themselves on the outs with no publicity. Grandmaster Flash and other acts filed lawsuits against Sugar Hill Records for unpaid royalties. Did they talk to Levy? You had an OG like Miss Robinson who knew that if you accept a check as a work for hire, you could never come back to claim ownership on anything, Stone says. Angie Stone. She said, you had an OG like Miss Robinson who knew that if you accept a check as a work for hire, you could never come back to claim ownership on anything, Stone says. We all got duped from time to time because we were eager, young, and excited to be working and touring. That was the chance we took to touch our dreams. Disillusioned artists, however, were the least of Robinson's worries. A combination of a doomed distribution deal with the struggling MCA Records and an evolving hip-hop landscape led by the harder beats and rhyme swagger of Run DMC pushed Sugar Hill to the brink. Def Jam Records, with its growing all-star roster that included LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, and Public Enemy, essentially made the New Jersey label obsolete. After 26 Gold Records, the Robinsons folded Sugar Hill in 1986. Angie Stone says, everybody that made it after Sylvia Robinson learned from her. There would be no hip-hop industry without Sugar Hill Records. More importantly, I'm still not finding hip-hop. This is genius lyrics Rapper's Delight. No, I'm not reading that again. I'm not reading it again. Let's move on. I'm not reading that again. Yes, it says hip hop in there. This is from an article from Our Music World. Why is it called hip hop? An in-depth exploration. Barbara Green. Okay, now we gonna get to the meat and bones of the situation, man. Now we gonna get down to it. Hip hop is one of the most influential and dynamic cultural movements in modern history. Okay, now we're getting cultural movement. Now we getting cultural movement. Now this hip hop is now it's a culture now. It's not something from American culture, from the American Indians culture, from your great grandparents who they call themselves culture. Now it's hip hop is one of the most influential and dynamic cultural movements. Now it's a cultural movement. Now it's a culture in itself, which means that anyone can participate. See, if it's just Americans' culture, the only Americans there ever was, is, and will be you, me, the people who they falsely term as Black Americans or Afro Americans or African Americans or Negroes or colored, mulatto, them people, your people. Hip hop is one of the most influential and dynamic cultural movements in modern history. So now we get cultural movement. Okay. Hip hop as a genre and cultural movement. Here we go again. Cultural movement emerged in the 1970s in the South Bronx, New York. See, it wasn't a cultural movement then. It was something that we did. That's it. Because as you can see, they sampled or they played Chic's Good Times again, right? And that was Americans singing, doing something that they naturally were good at. Right? And then it was Americans talking greasy on a beat, right? Hip hop as a genre and cultural movement emerged in the 1970s in the South Bronx, New York. What does that mean? Emerged in 1970s in the South Bronx, New York. Hip hop as a genre and cultural movement emerged in the 1970s in the South Bronx, New York. So here we have hip hop as a genre and cultural movement, not the natural thing that we've been doing for centuries. See, now it's taking on a business form. Now it's turning into something that other people can control, other people can participate in. But the name hip hop didn't come into play right away. That's what we've been talking about. That's what I've been talking about. Like, I'm waiting for this hip hop thing. Like, I'm not getting it. What is it? Starting to seem like the business of talking greasy over beats. Because, our people then would beat on their chest. Our people would beat on their chest and talk greasy. Our people would beat the table and talk. You know what I mean? We'll beat the table and talk greasy. We'll be in the cypher talking greasy. Not proclaim. You don't even have to say that you know rapper to talk greasy in a cypher. You just You just chilling, you kicking it with your homies. That's it. It wasn't until the late 1970s and early 1980s that the term hip hop began to be in relation to this growing cultural movement. Someone had to put a name on it. Just like someone had to put a name on, or someone had to call Americans, the people who you falsely term as Black Americans or African Americans or Negro or colored or mulatto, just like you had to put a name on the thing that they were doing naturally, you had to call it R&B and rock and blues. The name had to be put on it so that not only was it now a business, but it was also all inclusive. It wasn't just that these particular people, these Americans, this is their thing. It wasn't until the late 1970s. Now we getting somewhere. It wasn't until the late 1970s and early 1980s that the term hip hop began to be in relation to this growing cultural movement. The way the term emerged and who is responsible for it is still debated. According to some accounts, Bambaataa began the term hip hop to describe the various elements of the culture. So now what do we have? We have hip hop, the cultural movement, which encompasses everything that Americans have been doing for centuries. According to some accounts, Bambaataa began the term hip hop to describe the various elements of the culture. So now they're saying that some accounts, Bambaataa is taking the leadership role. Who's making him the leader of the business of hip hop? Is he the face of it at this point? Is this the reason they're saying this? Afrika Bambaataa helped popularize the term hip hop. He helped popularize it. DJ Kool Herc, in some early interviews, referred to the musical and cultural phenomena as hip hop, and his use of the term helped solidify its association with the genre. It wasn't until the early 1980s that hip hop became widely used as a label for the entire cultural movement. It wasn't until the early 1980s that hip hop became widely used as a label for the entire cultural movement. Now, who is responsible for this cultural movement or this term called hip hop? I don't think we was invited to that meeting. Over time, it became synonymous with the broader cultural expression. Now, over time, it became synonymous with the broader cultural expression. See, it's morphing into something. It's morphing into like this money, this machine. It's turning into a machine now. A cultural movement, cultural expression. This is the New Republic. How hip hop lost its accent. The history of hip hop as told in the Get Down only hints at its immigrant heritage. The New Republic, how hip hop lost its accent. The history of hip hop as told in The Get Down only hints at its immigrant heritage. take a second to look at this picture. This article is by Anakwa Dwamina. Are you shocked that this article is by Anakwa Dwamina? September 7th, 2016. Are you shocked that Grandmaster Flash is throwing up his gang sign? Africa Bambaataa. The name Africa Bambaataa. He has what appears to be an outline of what we know as, I guess, the landmass that is termed Africa. We all know that Africa, Asia, and Europe are all one landmass. They connect. You can go from the northernmost part of Europe to the southernmost part of Africa without crossing a body of water. But for some reason, people focus on that shape on Africa Bambaataa's jacket. And it says Zulu Nation. Now, it's a bunch of stuff that just happened. Cultural movement, cultural expression. At first, it was Sylvia Robinson at a party at Harlem World in Harlem, an American sister. She was at Harlem World. She heard the song. She heard the DJ talking greasy over the song. She didn't say who the DJ was, but she heard him talking greasy over the song. Good times. I think it was Good Times by Chic. It might have been another song by Chic, but it was that organic. And she said, I got to get somebody to do that. And now, where are we now? We are at the New Republic, how hip hop lost its accent. First of all, I'm still struggling to figure out the birth of this hip hop thing. And now they talking about hip hop at an accent. When 12-year-old Clive Campbell arrived in the Bronx from Kingston, Jamaica, in 1967, he found it hard to adjust to teenage life. He dressed like a Jamaican country boy. His Rasta twang was out of place, and he was advised to change his odd way of walking because local gangs were throwing Jamaicans in garbage cans. Oh, you want to play with garbage cans? In Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Jeff Chang's 2005 History of Hip Hop in the Bronx, he actively worked to lose his accent. In the rec room of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, the birthplace of hip hop. They say it's the birthplace of hip hop, but it's not only this hip hop, cultural movement, cultural expression. The theology is there, the dogma is there, so the physical place is now there. And then at the top in the picture, you saw they're giving us the people, and they also giving us an accent with it. Kool Herc played dance hall tunes like those found at any other Jamaican party in the Bronx. The crowd would not budge. So Kool Herc, his name is Clive Campbell, played dance hall tunes like those found at any other Jamaican party in the Bronx. The crowd would not budge. The parties were started, he explains, to stay out of that static happening out there on the street. We made a spot for the young sprouts to come and see if they could bust it out, or how you say it properly, to come see if they could bust out. If you can rock B-boy or be an MC, Kool Herc Party is the place to be. It says the Get Down, I guess the documentary passes up on an opportunity to demonstrate the integration of immigrants as a process of acculturation rather than assimilation. As a process of acculturation rather than assimilation. Look up those words. You'll have a better understanding of what that statement means. The passage of the 1965 Hart-Celler Immigration Bill transformed the face of immigration to America, 1965. The disproportionate allocation of quotas to the UK, Ireland, and Germany was removed, beckoning immigrants from everywhere else to America's coast. Same as it ever was. They flooding us. They've always flooded us. Shout out to the Jamaicans. Shout out to all the people from the island. Shout out to the West Indians. Shout out to the South Americans. Shout out to everybody from the northernmost part of Canada with its islands to the southernmost part of Argentina, including all of the islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, including all of the islands, Jamaica, Barbados, all those places. Shout out. But the truth of the matter is, we've been flooded for centuries. Why? Question mark. You tell me. The number of Caribbean-born foreign immigrants, well, they're not really foreign. You can't really call them foreigners. I mean, they are Americans because these are the Americas. But reality is reality. The truth is the truth. The number of Caribbean-born foreign immigrants doubled over the next 10 years. Among these were Grandmaster Flash, born in Bridgetown, Barbados, and the family of Africa Bambaataa, born to parents of Jamaican and Bahamian or Bajan descent, who, along with DJ Kool Herc, would form the three wise men who heralded the birth of hip-hop. Now, is that a coincidence? That these are the people who are associated with the birth of this theoretical thing called hip hop? Do you think that's a coincidence? I'm not sure. I'm just asking a question. I'm really not sure. I really don't know. At this point, I'm lost. But what it does, what it sounds like to me is that hip hop is synonymous with the business of talking greasy over a beat and it being popular, like everything else we do. Just like R&B, blues, rock. Hip hop pioneer DJ Kool Herc, born April 16th, 1955, Kingston, Jamaica, is a Jamaican disc jockey, DJ, who is credited as the founder of hip hop. In what I've read so far, I'm not sure what he founded. Because everything that hip hop encompasses, let's see what encompasses. A musical and see, here we go. Here we go. These are important. This is an important statement. A musical and cultural movement. See, this is the thing that these guys associated with. the musical and cultural movement that revolves around four elements: rapping, graffiti, painting, b-boying, and DJing. All these things Americans were already doing for centuries: rhyming, artwork, dancing, playing instruments. In 1973, Herc introduced a number of innovations at a party he DJ'd and co hosted that brought the foundational elements of hip hop together for the first time. In 1967, he immigrated to the Bronx in New York City at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Oh, his house. His house. His house is the birthplace DJ Kool Herc house is the birthplace of hip hop. They didn't do the hospital thing. They did the natural birth. Well, they didn't do the natural birth. They did an artificial birth at home. Hip hop was born 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. 4 pounds, 11 ounces. He earned the nickname Hercules for his muscular physique. He became involved with a crew of local graffiti artists, and he began using a tag named Clyde as cool for his graffiti. Eventually, he began throwing block parties where he served as a DJ, known for his powerful sound system and impressive collection of funk and soul music records. Funk and soul music records. No doubt the American Indian funk and soul music that he listened to, as well as everyone else. And when I say American Indians, I'm specifically speaking about those in this place that we term as the 50 states, or the land that is occupied by the U.S. On August 11th, 1973, Herc's sister, Cindy Campbell, hosted a back-to-school party for which she hired her brother to DJ. Sounds innocent enough. He introduced a new technique at the party that allowed him to keep playing the percussive instrumental breaks in songs for a longer, continuous dance flow. He called his two-turntable technique merry-go-round, and the dancers who performed during the breaks, break boys and break girls, or b-boys and b-girls. Music historians credit Herc's innovations and experimentation at this event with providing the foundation for hip hop. And August 11th, 1973 is now considered the birth date of hip hop. August 11th, 1973, Herc's sister, Cindy Campbell, hosted a back. This is too neat. Do you not think this is too neat? They didn't put this in a Ralph Lauren gift box, wrapped it up with with the with the wrapping paper with the lines on it that look real chic and clean, and put a nice little bow on it and called it August 11th, 1973, is now considered the birth date of hip hop. Born at home, a semi natural birth. In 2007, Herc and Cindy Campbell helped lead a campaign to have 1520 Sedgwick Avenue listed as a historic site, a Jamaican, partly to keep it from being sold to developers. Boy, I tell you, people come here. No shade to DJ Kool Herc, man. People come here They've come here for a long time. And they still come here today. And they take your stuff and they sell it back to you. Let's shake it. In 2021, in a congressional resolution that officially recognized August 11th as Hip Hop Celebration Day, Herc, Cindy Campbell, and the apartment building at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue were also recognized for their contributions to the birth of hip hop. And not and just like the not an American, not a North American from this portion of soil, nowhere in the mix. Where's Sylvia Robinson? Where is her recognition in this? And I'm just naming her because, well, she came before any of this. She was already making moves. But anyway, so now we have DJ Kool Herc, Cindy Campbell, and the apartment building at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue were also recognized for their contributions to the birth of hip hop. Now, is it just me, or did the congressional resolution in 2021 not mention any of the other brothers and sisters? Because remember, we had Angie B, we had Angie Stone in the South writing raps and doing her thing. What about the other so-called 50 states? What about Cali? What about Oakland? What about Texas? What about Chicago? What about Ohio? What about Michigan? What about Tennessee? What about Alabama? Florida? Baltimore? DC? Philly? What about those places? You mean to tell me wasn't nobody talking greasy in those places? Wasn't nobody putting together parties? Wasn't nobody doing nothing with music? Wasn't no. You got go-go music, man. Where it's all about drums. Hip Hop 50, Africa Bambaataa, the master of records and a pillar of an entire culture. Remember, the cultural movement that is hip hop, okay? See, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting cultural movement, cultural expression, and the business is called hip hop. Don't take Grandmaster Flash throwing up his gang sign. Don't take that lightly. By all hip hop staff, August 1st, 2023. Africa Bambaataa is a name that resonates with the very essence of hip hop. Now it's the essence of the theoretical thing. Okay? Because I have to mention this. I've done a show about this, a show or two about this. I've mentioned this, and it says in Early Creek Indians and Their Neighbors by John Swanton, it speaks about us rhyming. Okay? But Africa Bambaataa is a name that resonates with the very essence of hip hop. The essence of hip hop. Don't associate talking greasy over a beat with hip hop. Don't associate it with that. Because we always talk greasy, and we always talk greasy over beats, whether we made the beats, beating on our chest, beating on a table, beating on buckets, beating on a drum. We always done that. That ain't nothing new. But what is new is the business of it, the cultural movement of it. As a pioneering figure in the genre, Bambaataa's contributions have left an indelible mark on the music industry. Now, Africa Bambaataa, the DJing that he did was, let's move on. On April 17th, 1957, a young boy with roots in Jamaica and Barbados was born in the South Bronx, New York City. While there are conflicting accounts regarding his birth name, he is commonly known as Kevin Donovan or Lance Taylor. One of them. I'm gonna just say let's just say Africa Bambaataa. Let's stick to that. But he's responsible for the very essence of hip hop, and they don't even know his name. In 1974, his life took a transformative turn. Again, they don't know his name. Lance or Kevin, whichever his real name was, damn, they this is what people do, man. Unfortunately, this is what foreigners do to us, man. This is what they do, man. They gave you an icon, man. They don't really know his name, you know what I mean? They don't really know his name and all that. That ain't important. Whichever his real name was, joined a UNICEF essay writing contest and was set to fly to India or Hindustan or Bharati. Unfortunately, on the day he was supposed to meet the decision staff, he went to give out flyers for another party. He missed the trip and spent another year partying and living gang life. So, Lance or Kevin, he joined a UNICEF essay writing contest in the midst of partying and mobbing. In 1975, he joined the same essay writing contest and finally won a trip to Africa. So we got UNICEF, we got essay, we got gang, we got partying, we got 1975, we got a trip to Africa. There, he was exposed to a rich tapestry of African culture. Now, where in Africa, which culture? This is very vague, including music and traditions that would profoundly impact his artistic vision. Could this artistic vision possibly have anything to do with his outlook on the theoretical cultural movement called hip hop? Upon his return to the Bronx, he adopted the name Africa Bambaataa Asim, paying homage to his newfound connections. It came from the name of a Zulu chief, Bambatha, who led a rebellion in the early 20th century against unfair economic practices in South Africa. Eventually, hip-hop had its holy trinity. Oh, here we go. Now it's holy trinity. Hip-hop has its holy trinity. Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, and Africa Bambaataa. The 5 elements of the newly coined hip-hop movement. In 1977, Africa Bambaataa moved to throwing block parties, preaching the 4 elements of the hip-hop movement. Hip-hop movement. Again, movement. This hip-hop thing is a movement. Some might say, well, yeah, it's a movement. Obviously, it's a movement. No. That just means all inclusive. That just means you no longer own it. That just means it's no longer you. You didn't make it. You haven't been doing it for centuries. You're a guest. You are now a guest in the very thing that you've always been doing. Hip hop started to become more than just music. Again, here we go, but a cultural movement. And the only reason someone would want to make it a cultural movement is to not because they love you so much. They just love you, Americans. They want y'all to have a cultural move. They want y'all cultural movement to be recognized all over the world because they love you so much. No, cultural movement means merchandise, merch, shows, stuff, longevity. Africa Bambaataa added the fifth element to the mix, knowledge. That's who we trying to get here. Knowledge of the self was vital to becoming conscious people. And this is where much of hip hop's roots came from. Oh, so hip hop roots came from Africa Bambaataa's knowledge of his self. Whose self? After 5 years of spreading the gospel, or after 5 years of spreading the gospel of hip hop, Africa Bambaataa and other pioneers took hip hop to Manhattan. In 1990, he made it in Life magazine's Most Important Americans of the 20th Century issue. See how everything connects? The magazines, the UNICEF essay writing, the TV, the cultural movement, the record labels, the 1520 Sedgwick. See how all the hip hop lost its accent. The people coming from somewhere else here, taking what was here and packaging it up, putting a bow on it and selling it back to you and to the world or to the planet. In 1990, he made it in Life magazine's Most Important Americans of the 20th Century's issue. Remember that. Life magazine made him one of the most important Americans of the 20th century, Africa Bambaataa, 1990. Since then, Africa Bambaataa has been credited for contributing to the development of the hip hop genre, okay? Not the talent that people have and have always had. He was credited for contributing to the development of the hip hop genre. Again, which just means something that can be taken away from you. You get no credit for it, and you do not reap the benefits of it. It was in April 2016 when Ronald B. Stinger Savage, a Bronx political activist, accused the hip-hop pioneer Africa Bambaataa of having violated him in the 1980s when he was only 15 years old. Intimate violations. 3 more men accused Africa Bambaataa of intimate violation. Violating his person, violating his body. The article said the alleged abuse had been common knowledge in the Bronx. Wait. It was common knowledge in the Bronx. And what was that? Time magazine? Most important people of the 19th century, of the 20th century. Did they know that this was common knowledge in the Bronx? They tell of a decades-long cover-up by the Zulu Nation. In March 2021, American rapper Melly Mel also spoke about how everyone knew about the allegations surrounding Africa Bambaataa. Everybody knew. It was hip hop's biggest. It was hip hop's best kept secret. See that? It was hip hop's best kept secret. Hip hop, the new thing, the club. Okay, hip hop, the club that's creating the cultural, that's creating the propaganda around the illusion of the cultural movement, which is just the taking of something that was already here. Another mineral, another resource, some more soil. Africa Bambaataa hasn't been charged with any crimes. Bambaataa only request was for the younger generation to respect the wisdom and contributions of the elders who paved the way for their success. This is from Vibe Magazine, July 20th, 2016. 2016, around that same time. Vibe Magazine, KRS-One says anyone who has a problem with Africa Bambaataa should quit hip hop. To be honest, I still don't know what hip hop is. Is hip hop a club? Is hip hop the business of profiting from talented people, talented brothers and sisters talking greasy over beats? Is that what hip hop is? Who signed up? Who got hired in hip hop to be quitting? He said anyone who has a problem with Africa Bambaataa should quit hip hop. What do you mean quit hip hop? How do you quit talent? See, that's what lets you know this cultural movement thing, this cultural expression thing. The business is hip hop. Hip hop ain't the talent. Hip hop ain't our people's talents. See, in America, it's talking greasy over whatever you make a beat off of. And that's real rap. KRS-One is standing firm on his support of Africa Bambaataa and issued a defiant and dismissive response to anyone who questions the validity of the intimate violating of underage boys' bodies leveled against the Planet Rock rapper. KRS-One says, when you're talking about Africa Bambaataa, first of all, you're talking about the person who invented hip hop. Okay. Why would he say that? Maybe he has intel. KRS-One has intel. He says the person who invented hip hop. You know, the thing where hip hop is the thing where you got a talented brother or sister, right? They want a lot of people to witness their talent. So then you got people who put their talent, package their talent up and get it to a whole lot of people. Those people not only take most of what that talent reaps, but guess what they also do? Guess what they also take? They actually separate the soul from that person. And sometimes they take their life. When you're talking of KRS-One says, when you're talking about Africa Bambaataa, first of all, you're talking about the person who invented hip hop. Now, was Africa Bambaataa at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue? Was he acting as the midwife when hip hop was born at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue? Or the listen, KRS-One said, when you're talking about Africa Bambaataa, first of all, you're talking about the person who invented hip hop. KRS-One said, not participated in it. There was no hip hop before Africa Bambaataa. Do you understand what he's saying? This is important. He's saying there was no theoretical thing called hip hop. There was no illusion called hip hop before Africa Bambaataa. Let's start there, he says. So anyone who has a problem with Africa Bambaataa should quit hip hop. During a recent sit down in Birmingham, England, the Boogie Down Productions member continued to refer to the allegations against 59-year-old Bambaataa as gossip. He said he referred to it as gossip, but it said that Melly Mel said that everybody in the Bronx knew. They said everybody in the hip hop club knew. When the interviewer suggested both perspectives, the victims and Bambaataa be given the same level of respect and platform to voice their side of the story, KRS-One, who will celebrate his 50th birthday next month, said, leaders of the culture should be untouchable. He said leaders of the cultural movement, which is hip hop. Remember? Hip hop is the cultural movement. It's the illusory cultural movement, the illusory business machine. It's the business machine. It's the illusory cultural movement. He said leaders of the culture should be untouchable. Some of us are infallible. He said some of us are infallible. Some of us are going to have to be untouchable, or our entire culture is going to fall. What culture is he speaking of? He is speaking of the essence of hip hop. He is speaking of the hip hop cultural movement, the hip hop cultural expression. The one that was given birth to at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, New York. Remember all other places in America now. Americans was all over. Okay? He's talking about the one that was given birth at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. And the inventor was Africa Bambaataa. So if it was given birth to at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, and its inventor was Africa Bambaataa, who delivered the baby called hip hop? Some of us are infallible. Some of us are going to have to be untouchable. Is he asking you, can he be untouchable too? And what do he want to be untouchable for? And what is he saying that Africa Bambaataa should be untouchable for, man? What is he saying should be accepted, man? Or our entire culture is going to fall. Your culture was never really a culture. You understand that? Your culture was never really a culture. Your culture was like a theory. It was like the Easter Bunny. or the tooth fairy. Our culture cannot fall on the accusations of 4 people. That's weak. What if one of those people was your child? Okay, we got Boogie Down Productions, 13 and Good lyrics by KRS-One on Genius Lyrics. This song is called 13 and Good. Look, I don't really know what the song mean. I'm just going to read the lyrics. And you tell me what you think they mean. I've heard the song before. I've heard the song a couple times. And it strikes me as odd that I heard this song, and after hearing it, that I would actually listen to another song by KRS-One. It is, you know what? It's too much information out here, man. Well, I guess it's not. I guess it's better to know than not know, right? Know better, you can do better. It say this track from Boogie Down Productions' final album, Sex and Violence, is a storytelling rap. That's Sex and Violence is the name of this album. Sex and Violence. And the name of the song is called 13 and Good. Now, this don't have nothing to do about what I think about this particular subject or what I think about the characters in this song. I'm reading the lyrics. We paint a picture here, a big picture, okay? The picture that we painted ain't nearly as vast as the elaborate show that we're living in. I'm not finna rap this like I got some music right here. KRS-One said, I walked in a place, very big space, every kind of race, dancing and niggas made chase, a very pretty face. So I walk in a place, throw the bass, basses kick, fly girl jumps on my tip. The drink that I sip implies this is it. She looked to be about 26. I ain't dizzy. It's time to get busy. Welcome, he say. She look about 26. I ain't dizzy. It's time to get busy. Welcome. Female is in my arms. Yes, overwhelmed by my Playboy charms. We jumped in a ride, rushed to the crib. I ain't gotta explain what we did. Built to last. I simply waxed that ass. Asked the question, no need for guessing. Hey baby, how old are you? 26, 21, maybe 22. I'm 25. She shucked and kind of nodded and said, he. I'm only 13. 13. I need a quick escape. That's statutory. But she was good. He said, but she was good. He actually wrote this. Like, he wrote this on paper. He wrote this on paper and then not only wrote it on paper, but you know how you writing on the paper and then you scribble something out and then you ball it up and you write it neat. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your finished product and then you go in the studio and you lay it down. He did that. And it say, good. You should have been there. She was good. Man, that jail term won't be good. But she looked good. Man, her brothers will beat you good. Even if I get beat down, it was still good. It gets better. This girl is kind of clever. She said, I want to be with you forever. I said, forget it. I need to get my life in order. You could almost be my daughter. She started sighing. And her sighing turns into crying. Her crying turns into her replying. Where's the phone? I think it's time that I went home. She called her pops and said, come get me. I'm all alone. I'm sorry, Daddy. I slept with an older man. He said, don't worry. The 45 is in my hand. I'll be there before you count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at my door. She said, see what you did? You caused me all this grief. You're going to jail. My daddy's a police chief. If I can't have you, no one will. And I ain't even on the pill. But you was good. You should have been there. She was good. Man, that jail term won't be good. But she looked good. Man, her brothers will beat you good. Even if I get beat down, it was still good. Daddy comes through the door. Now I'm thinking I got at least one shot at his jaw. When he entered, the whole mood kind of changed. He grabbed his daughter and almost beat the girl insane. She's crying down the hall and now going home. He closed the door and I'm happy we're all alone. Wait a second. Whoa. What's happening here, man? Hold on, man. Hold on. What's happening here, man? What is happening with the daddy comes through the door? Now I'm thinking I got at least one shot at his jaw. When he entered, the whole mood kind of changed. He grabbed his daughter and almost beat the girl insane. She's crying down the hall and now going home. So the little girl is out the room. She crying, walking down the hall on her way home. Her father closed the door, KRS-One, and her father's in the house. Her father say he closed the door, and he said, I'm happy we're all alone. Jump on the bed and look me straight into my eyes. I think you're kind of cute. Don't make me use my 45. Daddy's looking for a lubricant. He pulled out a little piece of gum and started chewing it. For years, I've been looking for a big, strong man. I've got an apartment out in Brooklyn. Only my daughter and I are there. You can see my daughter anytime, anywhere. But it's you that I want to be mine. The price tag is your behind. Don't worry, it'll be good. You should have been there. She was good. Man, that jail term won't be good, but she looked good. Man, her brothers will beat you good. Even if I get beat down, it was still good. Oh my God. And he say, the outro, he say, the moral of this story, there is no moral. You finish the story for me. When you're living your life every day in the hood, waking up in the morning should feel good? What? Damn, this dude was telling us something all along. Wow. This is hip hop? So we got the verse, we got the song, we got the rapping part, okay? We get the rapping part. We get the rapping. We get the beat part, even though we don't hear the beat here. Because this is a quiet show. It's quiet life. This is a quiet show. We know it's a beat, though. So we got the rapping, we got the talking greasy, and we got the rapping, we got the beat, but this ain't even talking greasy. This is different. Is this the essence of hip hop right here? Man, let's shake it. This is from Injustice Busters, interview with Michael C. Rupert. Mike Rupert, former LAPD officer. I'm Mike Rupert, and I'm the publisher of from the Wilderness Newsletter and ex-LAPD narc. And Mike Rupert says, I haven't been a policeman now for a long time. I graduated from the LA Police Academy class in 73, hit the streets in January of 74 in South Central Los Angeles. Man, KRS 113 and good. I mean, it started off bad, but it I'm not surprised. I come from a CIA family, and they had tried to recruit me. It's not just that I'm a former narcotics investigator with the LAPD. I am also a recovering alcoholic who has sponsored men in recovery for 17 years. I've served on the board of directors of the National Council on Alcoholism. Let me make it real simple. It's kill the Indians, take the land. Kill the Indians, take the land, take the wealth. So it is something of a misnomer or a misconception to believe that all of the cocaine or all of the crack cocaine was only used by African Americans, properly American Indians. It's very safe to say if I want to read something about America, I read something in French or from Britain. Take that as a note. American media acculturates. I think that's a good word. It teaches the whole world. It's subliminal, it's soft, it's elegant, and it's insidious. And it's bad. You know, people believe that America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And even a lot of people here believe it. And yet we are a country that is causing almost all of the ills all over the world. We're blowing things up. We're killing people. We're poisoning them. We're enslaving them. We're doing it all. But it's largely American entertainment that makes that possible because people believe we're the good guys. And KRS-One believed that it was good, man. What is a 360 deal? Here's what to know. Remember, this hip hop thing is slowly unfolding to us, not to be confused with talking greasy over a beat, not to be confused with the American Indians rhyming. January 14th, 2022. What is a 360 deal? Here's what we know. Here's what to know. What is a 360 deal in the music industry and the pros and the cons of signing one? What is a 360 deal in the music industry? A 360 deal is a multiple rights deal between an artist and record label where the label agrees to support the artist in the form of advanced finances, marketing, touring, promotion, etc. in exchange for your goods. No, I'm just kidding. In exchange for your goods. In exchange, the record label is entitled to a percentage of revenue from everything the artist brings in. This includes recorded music sales, publishing royalties, concerts and tour sales, merchandise sales, endorsement deals, book and movie deals, ringtones, private copying, levy royalties, etc. These agreements can sometimes leave an artist giving up more than just their pay. Yeah, we just saw that. We just read that. But also some of their creative freedom. Oh, creative freedom. Motown was the pioneer of a 360 deal. They owned your likeness, your touring, publishing, record royalties, told you what to wear, told you how to walk. This is the Perimeter. This is an article from the Perimeter. Says John Holmeston, a retired CIA agent, admitted this week on national Russian television that the CIA was behind the creation of gangster rap in the late 80s and 90s in order to glamorize criminal behavior and fill private prisons. And when we say gangster rap, don't get it confused with real dudes, real stand-up dudes in your neighborhood who bout it, who put in work. This ain't got nothing to do with them, because each and every time they've labeled somebody as gangster rap, you oftentimes wonder, first of all, what is this gangster stuff in terms of just like, I think they're putting the gangster term on people who they really mean as thugs. The only gangsters I know is a particular mob, okay? Is a particular mob in Chicago, okay? And all the people who they label as, they oftentimes say NWA, gangster rap, but listen, let's entertain this word gangster in terms of calling a person a gangster, or calling a person basically about it person, a no nonsense person. Okay. The only way you can make gangster, only a gangster can make gangster rap. How can you make gangster rap if you're not a gangster? And when you say gangster, what do you mean? Because at one point, it was Al Capone. At one point, it was the word gangster was associated with Italians, right? I mean, that's what was pushed. That was the propaganda. But then the propaganda switched. I'm talking about as a whole. I'm not talking about the outliers. I'm talking about as a whole. The CIA was behind the creation of gangster rap in the late 80s and 90s in order to glamorize criminal behavior and fill private prisons. The government at the time spent big money, serious money, on this covert operation designed to further division and corrupt the American youth to nihilist, anti-establishment, and anti-American ideologies. He explained in a half-hour interview. Famous hip-hop lyrics of legendary hip-hop outfit NWA were even scripted by a team of psychologists and war propagandists inside the CIA, according to the former agent. The CIA worked in tandem with the music industry elite to create a funnel in which young people would be indoctrinated with brainwashing gangster rap music, introduced to a life of crime, and then delivered to the highly profitable private prison system. In 2021, Core Civic, formerly known as Corrections Corporation of America, the biggest name in the private prisons industry, contacted 48 states offering to buy their prisons. There was one requirement of eligibility for the deal was particularly strange: an assurance by the agency partner that the agency has sufficient inmate populations to maintain a 90% occupancy rate over the term of the contract. Corrections Corporations of America. In the year 2012, a mere 232 media executives in the U.S. were responsible for controlling all avenues necessary to manufacture any celebrity and spark any trend. Time Warner, as the owner of Warner Brothers Records, could not only sign an artist, but since they are also owners of Entertainment Weekly, they can also put an artist on the cover of magazines by next week. BET and MTV are owned by Viacom. The largest owner of Core Civic, formerly Corrections Corporation of America, is Vanguard Group Incorporated. Vanguard is the number one largest holder in both Viacom and Time Warner. Vanguard is also the largest holder in the GEO Group, the second largest owner of private prisons in the entire USA. They make money from getting gangsters in the hood to glorify the lives they lead. Then, when the gangster rap they are promoting influences young people to engage in criminal behavior, they make even more money from all the impressionable low-income people of color, American Indians, who fill their private prisons. I thought that was an interesting article. I thought I'd share. This is from Hype Beast. 9 live events, concerts, exhibits, and releases to celebrate hip hop's 50th anniversary. Now, this is the longevity that I was speaking of with this theoretical thing called hip hop. Who does hip hop represent? Queen Latifah and Whoopi Goldberg are co-curating an exhibit at the Morrison Hotel Gallery, Los Angeles and New York City, entitled Hip Hop at 50, Queen Latifah and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, who's Whoopi Goldberg? It's the lady that had, she a G, right? She a G. You figure out what kind of G. You figure all that out. Yeah, she a G. All right, here we go. Hand-picked iconic photographs from renowned photographers such as, Danny Cinch, Timothy and Lynn Goldsmith, Josh Chuse, Mike Miller, Jonathan Mannion, and more will create a visual odyssey that captures the essence. There goes that word again, the essence. Now, Afrika Bambaataa was responsible for the essence of hip hop. It said these pictures, these photographs, these photographers will create a visual odyssey that captures the essence of hip hop's evolution from its birth. My question is, how can photographs capture the essence of talking greasy while you beating buckets, while you beating a desk, while you beating your chest? Essence of hip hop's evolution from its birth. So it says New York City's Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA, will be joining in on the celebration with their line of Metro cards, created in collaboration with, drumroll, Universal Music Enterprises. This is hip hop. Jay-Z's life is the focus of the newest exhibit, taking place at the Brooklyn Public Library, Central Branch. The Book of Hove is a multimedia exhibit that explores Jay-Z's global impact as a musician, innovator, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, and will feature archived objects such as an original recording masters, never before seen photos, his iconic stage wear, some jeans, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap, awards and recognitions and videos and artifacts from the rapper's professional life. In addition, a limited edition Jay-Z library card featuring the artwork of his albums are available. On August 11th, here we go, August 11th, in the Bronx, the birthplace of hip hop. Okay, see, I think at this point, you would probably agree that we now understand what is meant by August 11th in the Bronx, Sedgwick Avenue, the birthplace of hip hop. It's the birthplace of the business, the essence of the business idea. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's the set, like the movie set. It's the movie set of the nativity, kinda. A similar lineup of Run DMC, Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Eve, Lil Kim, Remy Ma, Trina, T.I., Fat Joe, Common, Ferg, EPMD, Ghostface, Killer Lupe, Fiasco, Slick Rick, Kool Herc, and Cindy Campbell, Kool Herc's sister, Grandmaster Caz, Curtis Blow, Melly Mel, Roxanne, Shantae, Scorpio, and the Sugar Hill Gang, Clark Kent, Marley Marl, Manny Fresh, and Battle Cat are all coming together for Hip Hop 50 Live at Yankee Stadium. The event is co-produced by Nas, Mass Appeal, Live Nation, and New York Yankees, with tickets starting at $60 or $50 USD. Okay, we have Cornell Chronicle. Indigenous hip hop artists address social issues in their work by Alex Colberry, April 10th, 2013. Kiwi said he grew up in Los Angeles with gang violence and stark racial divides within his community. For him, hip hop served as an outlet to advocate for equality. At first, he says, I thought hip hop only talked about the African American community, or properly, the American Indian community, or the American Indians. Ain't no community. It's the American Indian soil that these people are on, that they falsely call the home of the African American. But the Filipino community also struggles. Once I realized I was politicized in my own community, he's claiming his community in America, I had something to rap about, Kiwi said. Event organizer Dejahi Wiley, it says 14, Muskogee, said hip hop is an effective way to keep indigenous culture alive despite centuries of colonization. We know hip hop, we know rapping is something we always done, and we don't have to keep indigenous culture alive. See, you live in the indigenous people's culture every day of your life. As a matter of fact, that talking greasy that you call rap, the talking greasy, you know, the real rap, is you participating. No, not participating. is you trying to take your little portion of American Indian culture, of indigenous culture. He says hip hop is an effective way to keep indigenous culture alive. Despite centuries of colonization, hip hop artists can use their music to inspire and preserve traditional values, relearn culture, and solve problems that have stemmed from historical imperial domination, Wiley said. He says this while doing a little bit of stilling himself. Do you see what's happening here? I don't have to tell you. It never stopped. It's continuing. Do you see what people do? Everybody take. Everybody take. Everybody come here to take your stuff. To take our stuff. They gonna make us stop spending money with them. Not them in particular, because we don't really spend money with these people who call themselves Native Americans. I really wouldn't know where to spend money with them at. The event was a work of multicultural collaboration. Wiley, co-chair of Native American students at Cornell and a student employee with the American Indian program. No, let's keep it Native American. Let's keep it honest. Organized it alongside LA it's La Asociación Latina Movimiento. Oh, it's some Latina movement, some more cultural movement stuff. Asian and Pacific Americans for Action and the Cornell Asian and Pacific Islander Student Union. Take. Students need not look far to understand indigenous culture. Of course they don't. You didn't look far. It's all around you. He said Cornell resides on the homeland of the Cayuga people, one of the 6 nations of the whatever confederacy. The American Indian program will commemorate and celebrate its 30th anniversary with the 2-day conference April 12th through 13th. Wish I could have made it. I'm pretty sure it would have been really interesting. Preserving indigenous culture and tradition starts here, locally. One of them said, preserving indigenous culture and tradition starts here. Ain't that something? He talking about preserving indigenous culture by using the indigenous people's art form, by using, I don't even want to say art form, because it's some natural that we do. It ain't really nothing spectacular. We just talk greasy over a beat. It's nothing. But it seems that everything we do, and we just naturally doing it, it always seems like it's spectacular to other people. So much so that they say, I like that. I want one. Like when you go to the zoo and you see all the animals, and then they they didn't say I like that. I want one. Like when people adopt people, I like that. I want one. Students need not look far to understand. Indigenous culture, he said. Cornell resides on the homeland of the Cayuga people. American Indian program will commemorate and celebrate its 30th anniversary with a 2-day conference, April 12th and 13th. They say, they say, preserving indigenous culture and tradition starts here locally. You don't need to go to Africa to make a difference. Wow. I don't even know what that means. But I'm pretty sure if I think about it for a second, it will mean something. So this is the Daily Caller. Hip hop diplomacy, State Department using urban music to push racial justice and environmentalism abroad. It says Robert Schmad. This is 2024. The federal government is using the federal government is using taxpayer funds to promote hip hop abroad, sometimes with the aim of advancing left of center agenda items. The State Department has funded 31 different programs spanning 23 countries to promote hip hop as part of America's public diplomacy strategy. Since 2001, President George W. Bush appointed Tom Blackman, or Tony Blackman, as the United States' first hip hop ambassador. Hip Hop Education Center, Tony Blackman. This is Tony Blackman, appointed by George W. Bush as the United States' first hip hop ambassador. I told you that thing called hip hop is the machine. Tony Blackman is an award-winning artist and social entrepreneur. And her steadfast work and commitment to hip hop led the U.S. State Department to invite her to serve as the first cultural ambassador for hip hop, the machine. Tony was recognized as the Dove Real Woman in 2012 and became part of the campaign in the United States and Canada to help women and girls develop self-confidence and self-love. A recognized Echoing Green Fellow, and Open Society Institute Fellow. Tony is a teaching artist and rap performance specialist for Carnegie Hall. Tony has held workshops and taught at a variety of institutions, including the Kennedy Center, Harvard, NBC Universal, Hallmark, Coca-Cola, the World Social Forum, Spelman College, Juilliard School, and the Smithsonian. I won't get into it. She lives between Brooklyn, New York, California's Bay Area, and Dakar, Senegal, in West Africa. A multifaceted hip hop professional. Yes, hip hop is a business and it requires professionalism. Tony has been recognized as a pioneer in both hip hop education and hip hop theater. Hip hop theater, kind of what it was from the beginning. You agree? Congress.gov. Red 602 commemorating the 50th anniversary of hip hop and designating August 11, 2023 as Hip Hop Celebration Day, designating August 2023 as Hip Hop Recognition Month, and designating November 2023 as Hip Hop History Month. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, yeah, I need to jump here. Remember the dates. Commemorating the 50th anniversary of hip hop and designating August 11th. You remember Cedric Avenue, DJ Kool Herc, his sister. They threw a party, and now it's the birthplace of hip hop. Africa Bambaataa, the inventor of hip hop, right? August 11th, 2023. August 11th, not 2023, but August 11th. 2023 is Hip Hop Celebration Day. August 11th is Hip Hop Celebration Day. Designating August, the month of August 2023. Now, is this the month of August moving forward, or just the month of August 2023 as Hip Hop Recognition Month, and designating, check this out, November 2023 as Hip Hop History Month? Now, watch this. Is this a coincidence? FirstNations.org, for a reason to rethink your November. In 1990, President George Bush, again, we talking about George Bush again, declared the month of November as Native American Indian Heritage Month, which later became Native American Heritage Month. The month builds on the initial proclamation of American Indian Week. We have to ask, why just November? At First Nations, we believe any time of the year is the appropriate time to celebrate the contributions of American Indians. When they talk about the contributions of American Indians, they mean the contributions of your family. They don't mean these people in this picture right here. These people cannot lay out in the sun for too long. Tropical Mississippi, Alabama. You saw that? November 2023 as Hip Hop History Month. You think that's a coincidence? 118th Congress, first session, H-Res 602. H-Res 602 in the House of Representatives, July 19, 2023. Resolution. Commemorating the 50th anniversary of hip hop and designating August 11, 2023 as Hip Hop Celebration Day, designating August 2023 as Hip Hop Recognition Month, and designating November 2023 as Hip Hop History Month, the same as American Indian, or as they say, Native American History Month. Is that they playing with us? They just playing, right? They always playing with us. But them playing has very serious consequences. Whereas 2023 is the 50th anniversary of the creation. Whereas 2023 is the 50th anniversary of the creation of hip hop. Whereas on August 11, 1973, Clive DJ Kool Herc, this is now when, listen, this right here is some don't smell good about this. Whereas on August 11th, 1973, Clive DJ Kool Herc Campbell introduced the innovative style of disc jockeying at an event organized by his sister Kathy Campbell called the Back to School Jam, which was held in the recreation room of 1520 Cedric Avenue in the Bronx, New York. They write stuff down and think it's official because they write it down. It sounds silly. It sounds silly. Whereas together, Clive, DJ Cool, Herc Campbell, and the master of ceremonies engage the crowd with rap on the microphone while partygoers known as B-boys and B-girls dance. It's foreigners helping foreigners, and introduced a new style later known as hip hop. Later known as hip hop. Remember, hip hop was created. The actual thing that inspired them to label it something, they don't know how that was created because that came natural to the Americans. That came natural to the American Indians, and more specifically, whatever your people called themselves, where they were from. Whether they was from Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia. Introduced a new style later known as hip hop, which combined the elements of a disc jockey, commonly known as a DJ, a master of ceremonies, commonly known as a MC, music, art, and dance. That's someone taking your stuff and packaging it up and putting a label on it and putting a tag on it, folding it up, selling it to you. Whereas the art and culture of hip hop is an original creation of the United States and one of the most popular genres of music within the United States. Listen to me. Hip hop was created by the United States. BARS. America is the soil. United States is the occupying foreigners. It just so happens that our families and generations of our families have joined the military of the occupying foreigners. Listen one more time. Actually, I'm going to read that last. Whereas hip hop has had notable Southern influences following the Northern inception, such as jazz and bounce from New Orleans, Louisiana, the blues from Mississippi, and country from the South. And these influences, along with other celebrated genres of music, such as, I hate how they call in what our people do as genres of music. These people, I mean, they will take some from you and dare you to say, I mean, take it from you and sell it back to you and get you singing along with it. Such as disco, gospel, soul, rock and roll, and indigenous music from across the United States. Such as, and these influences, along with other celebrated genres of music, such as disco, gospel, soul, rock and roll, and indigenous music from across the United States. When they say indigenous music, we know who they talking about in this resolution. They not talking about Native Americans because they don't have music. Have all helped hip hop transcend boundaries and contributed significant intellectual heritage and regional influence to the creation and progression of hip hop over the last century. Significant intellectual heritage, i.e., intellectual property, i.e., the machine. Whereas hip hop artists and supporters originally of African heritage, whereas hip hop artists and supporters originally of African heritage, can you say Zulu Nation, Africa Bambaataa, now transcend many different ages, ethnicities, religions, locations, political affiliations, and socioeconomic statuses, which demonstrates the versatility and inclusivity of hip hop, art, and culture. They already told you that they was using it as a strategy. Okay? They just told you they was using it as a strategy. Whereas hip hop has provided opportunities for extracurricular. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you that? This is so that, listen to this, the versatility and inclusivity of hip hop. This is to take you off the soil. This is to separate you from the soil. This is to separate you from what you do naturally. Put a label on it. See how they named all the other, quote, genres of music. At one time, our people had fun doing these things. Now we see early in this show, Bob Dylan writing 600 songs. Do that sound fun to you? Whereas hip hop has provided opportunities for extracurricular activities, youth empowerment, creative outlets, physical fitness, vocabulary exercises, poetry, analytical thinking, entertainment, employment, and economic impact, and has become an industry that generates more than $1 billion annually. Whereas on August 11, 2023, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip Hop Celebration Day. Whereas during the month of August 2023, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip Hop Recognition Month. And whereas during the month of November 2023, the federal government, the U.S., states, cities, and towns will observe Hip Hop History Month. Now let's go back and together answer the question that we inquired about at the very beginning of the show. This is the resolution. This is your federal government. Whereas the art and culture of hip hop is an original creation of the United States. Whereas the art and not Kool Herc, not Africa Bambaataa, not Sylvia Robinson, not Nuggles. Whereas the art and culture of hip hop is an original creation of the United States. Do the right thing.